what? Learn. Socialization. If you had not gone in other relationships to socialize with other people, you will not get to understand the other side of what. And that is the reason why the other man took his stick and went to the grave of the dead woman and started cleaning the grave. So after marrying a second wife, after the death of the first wife, he realized that the first relationship was hell. I don't know what I mean. Until you socialize, go beyond your boundaries, you will not get to understand what really exists in the organization. That is why there are times that workshops and conferences are organized for you to attend to be able to socialize with other employees in other organizations so that you get to experience best practices in the what in the sector that informs what you do at your place. If you can number what you do. Okay, now we stop at strong cultures. It's the babies and the children who are allowed to talk. And what did we say were strong cultures in organizations? Remember when we started, we indicated that every organization has a culture. They have their way of doing things. Likewise, our families and our homes, they have our way of doing things. But I cannot put this mind. Have you observed? So I have to station myself. You see why I'm worried with this thing? Please, this thing has nothing to yourself. Let's relax. If you can relax, look, whether you write your index number or ID or you don't write, you will graduate. One important element of culture is inclusiveness, right? When we are eating with our left and you decide to eat with your right, it means that you're not part of us. You get it? So therefore, strong cultures provides great consensus concerning what the organization is about and what it stands for. What the organization is about and what it stands for. You want a very good salary, but you are not ready to go to the office early as demanded by the organization. You are the first person to take your salary. Did you get that? These people, why? This man 20 alert no car. But when it is time for work, you are the last person to come to the office. Which means that my mind is very sensitive. Apart now, stop unless I finish. Leave the class immediately. Because no, please don't worry. I'll give you when I finish. I'll dedicate 5 to 10 minutes and fill up my class and I'll tell you anything we are doing for you. With respect to only admission. Yeah. Not other. Because what happens is that, see, I told you that all what I teach is psychological. Now, in teaching psychology, The mind is distracted by additions and subtractions of movements and what? Sound. Cool. I'm very sensitive. I can even be distracted even by the reason of your hand down. I beg you. Okay. Now, in strong cultures, a very good example of strong cultures include, I'm just going to example because you are distracted. Include Google. Google. Or is it Google? Yes, please. Is it Google or Google? Who told you it's Google? Eh? Who told you the spelling is Google? You see the problem? And this is a cultural problem for which harmony is not achieved in our organizations because your way of pronunciation is different from my pronunciation, and now you believe yours is right. Who told you yours is right? I don't know what you're getting. Who told you? Meanwhile, have an influence or it has an influence on any other language that you learn. True or yes? Now, why is it that I speak Frafra? You speak Dagbani, and he speaks Ebe. Now I say Google, he says Google, and he says, well, Google, and you are telling me yours is right. Are you changing my tribe from today from Dagbani to Frafra? I don't know what you get. It is the beginning of conflict, which we call organizational conflicts in our organization, which emanates from the non-acceptance of differences in culture. You easily forget that we are from different backgrounds, and you want to impose yours on mine, which will never happen. And that is even sometimes the reasons why we divorce. Because where you pick me from, when I cook, tomorrow I'm not available to cook. But you marry me and then you are telling me that every day I'm asleep. But where I'm coming from, we have a duty roster. I don't know what I get. We have a duty roster. Now we are together. Did we agree on a new culture in our home? Did we? No. It is assumed that when I come, I should obey your what? Your culture. It's an assumption. And that will play in the long run. And indeed, if care is not taken, there will not be any harmony because a new culture must emanate from the new relationship. That is why at Google, they have a culture which is termed as innovation and what? Entrepreneurship. At Google, everybody is given the liberty to wear what you want. Don't come to office naked. Why? Because the attention of the organization is what you bring to the table, not how you appear in the office. But in which environment do they operate? That's number one. Because if Google should open an office in Tamale, it will not be accepted because you can't wear shorts in the office. Because the culture of the people of Tamale will not allow that. So therefore, where your organization is located, the culture of the society must have an impact in the organizational what? Culture. You understand? You remember I cited the example of KFC, where they don't sell what? In Tamale. But if you go to America, in some states, they sell pork. In India, they don't sell beef. Why? Because Indians don't eat beef. You understand? Indians don't eat beef. So if you go to India, you are looking for beef burger, you will not get it. I will share with you the culture of Google. At Google, madam, the reason why I accepted and I encourage you to bring your children to school. At Google, there is a provision for every nursing mother or father to bring your children. Yes, you can bring your children. They have a daycare. You put them there. The organization has people who will take care of the children till the time you are leaving. They will take your children home. If you remember, and this is why we call employee well-being. If you go to TTH, those who did the reconstruction of TTH, they were the Dutch. You remember? As part of that culture, if you go to the accident unit site, there was a playground which was done. But unfortunately, because it's not part of our culture, we could not maintain it. Because when they finished, we didn't even know what was that. If you go, because it's not part of our culture. Why? Hmm? So at Google, there is no time for coming to the office. And that one will best suit our culture. Because in the morning, the women will have to take care of their children before they go to office. And the time you log out of the system. So you can sit at your office, you can decide to sit in your bedroom, but you must work. Because their work is done online. So today, if you're not coming to office, but you must work. Open your laptop, log online, and as you log in, the system is monitored. How many hours have you worked for the day? You see how flexible it is. It's innovative and it is what? Entrepreneurial. Why? Because you can decide to engage yourself in another activity. At the same time, you will honor your obligation to God. Do you understand? But what do we see in our offices? As part of the culture we practice here in our offices. Whether you like it or not, you have to come to office. Right? And you come. You're not doing anything. And then what do? You get used to WhatsApp, Facebook, Project. Uh-huh. Even the one who is employed as your IT officer cannot even monitor whether you are on WhatsApp or Facebook. He cannot monitor it. Why? Hmm? Okay. So we're saying that strong cultures do not necessarily result in blind conformity. We all agree that a very typical strong culture is the Gomez. Have you observed? The Gomez have a very strong culture. It's difficult to change. True or yes? It's difficult. Oh, she's gone. It's difficult to change. True or yes? Let me give you a typical example. And I'm one of the victims. A Yoruba man, when he travels abroad, every little holiday, if his last penny is once a week, go buy ticket and come home. And then within 2 days, he's going back. We ask him, what did you come to do? Oh, tell me now. Everywhere you go, wake up in the morning, the first thing is you're thinking about your mom, whether your friends, whether they're thinking. You are worried about your friends and your hometown. It's as if you're not there, everybody will die. Our Dogoma friends, true or yes? True or yes? It's a fact. As we are seated here, all the Dogomas in this class, observe, they are eager to go home to do what they don't know. It's a very key feature of the Dogomas. And that is why we call it strong culture. They feel part of it. Do you understand? They feel part of it and they respect it. Hmm? So don't be angry when you are parents don't take instructions from parents. So even if you take your team and go and bring the things. You see, if you get to understand these dynamics of culture, you will live very happily wherever you find yourself. Okay. Now what happens? We say that strong cultures do have what? Advantages. Hmm? Coordination. I'm not going to go further. We'll change another thing. Coordination. Strong cultures. Hmm? It facilitates communication among members. Immediately we see each other, we understand each other. True, yes. Immediately we see each other, we understand each other. How many of you will expose your tribe mate when he is caught cheating in an exam? You see the problem? Because he is your tribe mate, immediately he is in trouble, you feel part of the problem. You understand? And that's why we say strong cultures facilitate what? Communication. Hmm? You remember in the early stages of team formation, when you arrived here, everybody was looking at each other as a stranger, right? Then immediately I remember somebody received a call and he was speaking Ewe. You come and agree to you Ewe. You understand? Communication. Meanwhile, you might be wrong. He's speaking Ewe does not mean he's an Ewe. But immediately speaking Ewe, you see him as what? Facilitates communication and what? And then we learn from each other and can coordinate their what? Efforts. So every little information you get, you are quick to let it get to him. If you get a leakage, no matter how close you are to me, no, forget it. My strike. Hmm? So the one that I will show to you are the excess, but the important one is get it. And don't be surprised by the dating the yes, true, yes. See facts. Because we have very strong culture. Hmm? And then conflict resolution. I raise my hand to answer a question in the class. Then somebody says something at the back which hurts you a lot. You are furious. Then during the break time, you heard that like it's also then your temper comes down. Because you don't want to disgrace. I don't know what I'm getting. Ready to help him get out of that trouble because he is a member of what? Your culture. I don't know whether you remember. You did that a lot when you were in, you remember? Uh-huh. Hmm? There was one group that I cherished so much when we were in school. I respected them a lot. They had very strong culture. which was called the SC, Scripture Union. He had a very strong. You remember what we used to? You remember? Thank you very much. Yes, they can wake you up in the middle of the night. You remember? Yeah. Perfect. And it's very easy. And another group of people who are very strong culture is my brothers. Yes, my brothers. When they come into any community, it's easy to identify each other. No, my brothers. You know my brothers. Who are they? Thank you. They are called brothers. They are called brothers. So when they move into any new location or society, it's very easy to identify each other. And it's very easy for them to locate the hotspots. Very easy for them. They know the features in the science. So when he sees you, you'll be able to tell whether you tried before or you are still in it. Very easy. Very strong culture. They have bond. And then financial success. We say that strong cultures contribute to financial success. Why? When they support the what? The mission. And then you are struggling to build a house. You are struggling to raise the children. And her attention is about her out. Does her behavior support the mission and vision of the family? So that means she does not share the culture with you. I don't know where you get it. Because if your income cannot support a standard of living, definitely your family cannot make progress. I can't be earning 5,000 when your monthly expenditure on your outfit is 2,000. You alone 2,000. Meanwhile, we have 3 children. So when can we leave that rented house and go to our house? You understand? It means that her lifestyle does not support our vision. And therefore, it means she's not in line with the family culture. Because the family culture, you see, are you not surprised you see a wife taking a loan for the husband to add to build a house? Because she shares the same values with the husband. You die early. You are so observe something. Because you share the same values, norms, that brings together the what? The strong culture. You are valued and respected in the family. You are valued. No matter how a man misbehaves, no matter how you are born. There are some employees, they don't this. If you praise them, they feel shy to do more. Yes. They feel shy to do more because they don't want to be ridiculed by their colleagues. If you don't study the dynamics of the human psyche, it will be very difficult. What we normally do is universal compensation. Universal compensation. Because I praise you as you praise you, no, you are wrong. You are wrong. Some of our women, you praise them when they dress very nicely and she's sleeping. The next day, she wait when you eat what she will eat. Because she doesn't want praise. How many of you have your colleague wife pushing down his television when she's angry? Huh? Telling Novella, no, reality. It's not telling Novella. It's not going together. When we talk of strong culture, I give you an example of Frontier Airlines. Frontier Airlines in America, they were having a downturn in their what? In their revenue. So they decided to cut the salary of each worker by 20% in order to save the what? The airline. So to save the airline, they proposed a 20% cut of all employees. Now it got to a time where the company was revived and was making profits. Now, what the CEO did was that, many of us work for organizations and we don't even know those who are in. We don't know them. So what he did was that he did what we call an undercover boss. He went undercover to understand the realities of what happens in the organization. So he disguises himself as an intern to work at cargo, to work at waste management, to work at ticketing, and to work at cleaning services within the airline. So this week he worked here as an intern. The other week he works here. And as he was working, interns, you know what they do? They ask questions because they are there to learn. You understand? Then when he got to the bottom of those who really do the work, it's there he got to understand that they even understand the vision and mission of the organization better than the CEO. They even understand the organization better than what? The CEO. I will encourage you, I have it, but I will encourage you to just go to YouTube and put undercover boss, Frontier Airlines, and then watch that clip. That should have been our case team. Watch it and then you go home and write your report. Can we do that? Okay, the next lecture. Okay, so what he did was that after meeting these people to understand the realities on the ground, how many of us have sat with our employees in the organization so that we do an interaction of what we do in the office to understand what really matters? What we only do is that we issue instructions, right? And you issue instruction not because you want to issue instruction, but you do it because of your culture. Your culture says that if you are bigger than anybody, you direct the person. Even when you're young, what are you gonna? You're genius. Some of them, when they step into your office, they can't even see because they are afraid of you. You ask them to leave, right? Hmm? Hmm. We are okay where we are. Come and sit with me. Yes. You are fasting. Have to leave. You see the difference? Uh-huh. She then given a scenario at their office how a new boss came and casual workers during the heat season. Here it's very warm. It's not only here, the whole of Ghana. Then he invited the casual workers to share the office with them during the heat season. And they were resisting because it's very strange to them. For a casual worker to go and sit in the manager's office when you are treated for a sit and relax. It's strange. But he insisted and they came. They enjoyed the issue with him. And they went around broadcasting the news. How strange that act is to them. Because the normal thing is that when you are a social worker, even when it is raining cats and dogs, yes, have somewhere. Yeah, that's how it is. Madam, those of us who have house helps at our homes, when they sit on the sofa in the hall, what do we do? Because they are not used. It's a cultural problem. It's a pure cultural problem. And that is what we translate into our offices. Simple. Now we say that, you see, when you advocate for people to change their culture, it is not easy for them to change their culture because I told you, sometimes some people do certain things not because they want to do it, but because they don't know. They don't know. You understand? Giving more information, some of them will have changed wives. Giving more information will have changed your husbands. 2 years. Yes. So we say that it is not because you don't want to change, but because you don't have information. You lack information and you lack knowledge. Hmm? You lack information and you lack what? Knowledge. Why do people don't want to change? Why don't we want to change? Eh? Comfort. We are afraid of what will happen when we decide to move from one place to the other. We are afraid. And the reason why women don't want second wife is because they don't know what will happen. No, you cannot assure them until they see for themselves. You get it? Uh-huh. So we say that, you see, people resist change as a result of cultural what? Clash. Hmm? No, oh, it's core science. Our time it was called general science. I didn't do core science. So what is pathology? Oh, those who are- yes. Okay. It's an effect of it. Now, when we say you resist change, hmm, some strong cultures are what? Pathological. They are pathological. Uh-huh. Madam, at the last end, come back. Tell Madam to talk. She's not talking to me. Madam, when we say strong cultures are pathological, what is your understand? We did core science. I'm intentionally asking. I want to talk more in my next slide. Don't get that. Just say, if I don't even hear, don't worry. Don't worry, we're going to move very fast in the next 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. Come back, what did she say? Something part of the family. Oh, who heard it? Oh, so you don't want to share with me as you talk. Don't worry, I'll talk. But I should have continue talking. Don't say no, I couldn't even know going back to okay. Hmm? Yes. You're the only one talking. Hmm? Yes. Yes. So what we say, strong cultures can threaten organizational effectiveness simply because they what? Are in some sense pathological. Yes. They are what? Yes. Yes. You are moving next to another realm. Yes, I know it's a branch of medicine, but the terminology used here, when we say in some sense, strong cultures are pathological. Yes, toxic. I know that I said you have been talking to you. Toxic. They are toxic. Toxic. I just gave you an example. Where the woman man, wherever he goes, he wants to come home. Whether coming home is beneficial or not, coming home is coming home. So it's now toxic. Because you don't even weigh the benefits and the cost involved. It's the movement that is important to you as a result of what? The culture. Hmm? As part of our culture, observe. You marry, you are giving birth, and you are happy. The number of children you give them makes you happy, but whether you are benefiting or you are suffering, no. You understand? But as part of our culture, oh, Master Abba, your level, you should be having two wives. Oh, and then your mind has changed again. Then at a certain stage, you build another second house, say, what Abba, Master, you build that house. Abba, what are you going to do? You should get a woman. Another one. That's a pathological what? Effects as a result of what? It's now a disease. So some aspect of our culture are what? Pathological. We just do it, we don't even know what we are doing. We are infected. You are infected. You are happy. When we want to talk about important things, you are raising the issue of second wife. You want to tell us that anyone with one wife is not a man. I don't know whether you understand. You are always boasting of your wives and children. Meanwhile, you are suffering. When we are going home, you can't go home. You can't go home. Yes. And it means that lying is not part of your gene. Lying is not part of your habit. Even sometimes you lie without knowing you are lying. You understand? It's not part of you. It's not a disease in you. You are infected. So when you lie, you don't even know you are lying. You understand? Okay. Any question? It was a promise that I'll finish strong catches and then we'll move to the next topic. Yes. Beauty control. Any time it has affected me. So you are going up by the time we are done. Hmm? By the time we are done. It's like okay. This is where we are going to move. As I was talking about change, why people resist change. Now the issue is why do we change? Change is the only constant in life. An organization that resists change means does not accept innovation. Innovation. An organization that resists what? Change. And what is change? What is change? Hmm? And why must organizations what? Change. You remember when we were in JSS, the only viable mobile phone was what? Nokia. Do you remember? Later. You remember? And 1100 also came later. These were modernizations. Now, 3310 was the most vibrant one, right? Where is 3310? Hmm? Now, don't even talk about 3310. Where is Nokia itself? Hmm? Yes, it collapsed. Thank you. James. It came a time when the society was moving very fast, but the company did not adapt to the changes in society. It didn't. You observe in your area, observe very well. There were some wealthy people in your area. Now they are the poorest in your areas. When we were children, they were very wealthy. Many children, they had houses, but now they are suffering. The only thing that will remind you that they were rich is abandoned vehicles behind their houses. Do you remember? I don't know. You focus your mind back. You see old vehicles on stones behind their houses, and they are struggling. But when we were growing up, they were rich. Why? Because they didn't accept change. When society was changing, they didn't change accordingly. And that is a reminder to all of us that any organization that resists change is bound to what? To collapse. And change moves to what? Innovation. And the reason why your husband will leave you and go for small girls, not because they are beautiful than you, but it's because you don't change. No, you don't change. You don't. Very good. As you change, you are simply doing what? Innovate. You are simply innovating. I don't know whether you understand. You see, you got it. You are simply innovating. Okay. There are reasons why we change. You can change as a result of external forces, or you can change as a result of what? Internal forces. And you remember I clearly stated that many of you came here with new clothing because you were coming for MBA lecture. True, or yes. True. Even observe the way you dress to your office, you change. You came and sat by a lady accidentally. The next time you are coming back, no, you won't dress that way. The lady has forced you to change. I don't know what I understand. The lady will force you to change. And the ladies who are dressing in their best outfit, not because they want to, but they are dressing because they want to what? To be recognized by us. Mm. Thank you very much. Change moves with investment. Change investment. An organization that fails to invest in the change process cannot achieve the desired results. You cannot leave your employees without investing in them, and you want them to have up-to-date skills and knowledge to be able to live up to the expectation of the changing world. 3 years, we are asked to go for CPD, right? One CPD workshop can cost as much as 500. Standard one. How much do you take for professional allowance? No, teachers, they take. One after the end of the year, they give 1,200. Every year, they give each teacher 1,200 to be able to update your knowledge. But I'm true, yes. It's true. Then 1,200 you go for, and then you are asked to accumulate how many points at the end of before you get promotion. So you attend one workshop, and then the points you accumulate at the end of the workshop, maybe it's about 8 or 10 points, and you pay at 400 series. Now, 400. How many 400 do you have to pay to be able to get 60 points? That means the money cannot pay for it. That's why Edward Mohammed said that the government is pretending to pay the people and the people are pretending to work. So change cannot happen. We must face the reality. Change cannot happen. You understand? You cannot be happy with a lady who is on a Wellgira bike with a nice jean and top, and you come home and you're not happy with your wife, did you buy one for your wife?
No.
I don't know what I get. If you are admiring ladies in jeans, allow your lady to wear jeans. You cannot succumb to environmental and societal pressure not to allow your wife to wear jeans. Meanwhile, in reality, you admire ladies in jeans. Oh, you understand? You remember the last topic we treated was what? Social influence. Socialization and social what? Influence. We are pressured to accept the dictates of the environment in which we live. Remember? You understand? Now, if we accept the dictates of the environment in which we live to the detriment of our own happiness, which means that we can never change. We will continue to do what displeases us. I don't know what you're getting. We will continue to do. Meanwhile, when you leave this environment that tells you that your wife should dress this way, to another environment, your wife dresses in another way. So who are you? It means that you were doing it because of the people, not yourself. So you will never have happiness. Therefore, change can never happen in your life. Because you only change to achieve a desired results. But this change that occurs in your life is not for you. It's just to please the what? The society. So we say that as a result, organizations will differ in the amount of change they display. Because you remember when you were in second university, first your roommate, you go and buy gym. Saturday you wear, the next Saturday you also go and buy the same gym. You remember? She likes the gym or not, but because you are having it, she also buy. Even of them, those of us who are living in rented houses, we call it Dogo land. The compound house. Thank you very much. We call it what? Rotation. Thank you. You and your husband, you are in your corner, chamber and hall, and then you cook jollof today. The next day, they are also cooking jollof. Your husband will wear new dress. You should go inside and be accusing the husband. You don't wear new dress. That's the influence. Okay. What can we change? What can we change? We can change the people. We can change the people, right? If the employees are not living up to standard, should we change them? No. We don't change them. We can change them, but not the physical change, but the change in mentality and ability. You see the problem. And that is why we always advocate that transfers are a means of relocating ideas and skills, but not as a means of what? Punishment. Transfers are a means of relocating skills, but not a means of what? Punishment. But in our society, we do things to the extent that the meaning changes. Transfers now are meant as what? Punishments. And that is why you remember in compensation and rewards management, we have something we call transfer grants. How can we punish you and give you grants? You see the confusion? How can we punish you and give you grants? So we relocate you because you are raising the customer base of our branch, or you are raising the revenue of our branch. So we want you to replicate that skill you have in another branch that we are losing customers. So we transfer you there for you to raise the revenue and customer base. And we give you motivation, which is called the relocation grant, to motivate you so that you go there and then let your impact be felt. But here, when you see and we get, what do? We relocate you. We transfer you. Where is you over there? Simple. Hmm? So what can we change? People. And we are saying that in changing people, we change their mentality and we change their orientation. We change their mentality and we change their what? Orientation. And that is why we train and retrain. We train and retrain. How many of us as managers in our offices? When was the last time you called about 3 or 4 of your staff during off season for you to have lunch with them with your own pocket money? How many? How many? Because you've already calculated the number of blocks you buy, right, Samir? Because we are always building. And what are you building for? You don't know. Because the society told you that you should have many houses. Those of us who were not fortunate for our fathers to build houses for them before they died, we're not fortunate. Those who didn't have their fathers build houses for them, they are fortunate. Are you aware? You are not aware. In this our society, we were not fortunate. No, we were the fortunate ones. No, we were the fortunate. We didn't get. So the society pushed us to doing more. But those who had houses built for them, they were relaxed. You get it? And they are boasting. until you visit the other who is pushed to doing more, then you also go back to your father's house to change the window. Then you know that your father did well. Right? Hmm? The choice of what to change should be dependent on informed analysis. Sometimes we transfer you not because we want to, but I transfer you because there's a lady who is in our office and you're also admiring her. And I'm your boss. I'll show you where power lies. Oh, yes. I'll show you where power lies. As I'm a teacher now, if I'm admiring a certain student and you are also a student, you are in trouble. You write reflect effects. You write reflect effects. We can also change the goal. As you change the people, you can also change the what? The goal. We can change our goal. Our goal and strategy was what? As a company, was to do what? To be able to raise revenue. At the end of every quarter, our revenue should be 6 billion. But now it's not about revenue. It's about what? The multiplying effect. We raise the revenue. What do we do with the revenue? Now inflation is very fast. So as you keep the money, you are supposed to give them interest, right? But you are not investing the money judiciously. What happens? You are not. So now your goal Your focus is to be able to give them at the end of the year, right? Now, after giving them, have you met after the end of the year to decide what you should do the next year? You're just there. Do you have a name you cook in house? What we should eat today, what we should eat tomorrow, you have. So, what do you eat every day? Yeah, you see, you are shocked. We're just living an ad hoc life. And that is why our achievements in this world is ad hoc. There is no plan. And when there is no plan, there is no desired resource. We're just living by nature. And science says nature abhors what? Vacuum. If you leave an empty space, it will be filled naturally. And that is why when you employ an employee and you don't assign the employee will find something doing. But that might not help you to achieve your work, organizational goal. It will not. And that is the reason why you cook the food and the children will tell you we eat. Because they are stakeholders in the family. They were not part of the menu. They don't eat. But we all sat down and drew the timetable. Today we are eating this. Tomorrow we are eating this. Then at the end, you plan for the month. Getting to they know what they are going to eat because they agree. But because of your culture, you are imposing food on them and they will tell you to eat. You see, it's not for nothing that in the offices we provide water and some employees don't drink the water. Did you do consultation before providing the water? Meanwhile, I take full pack or I take Ven. You take what? Baltic. Right? Then because you like Baltic, you want go and buy Baltic. I won't take. Because you are the boss, you decide for us. Okay, you decide, buy, we will not drink. Keep your water. Hmm? We can also change the technology. You remember technology? You remember technology? Do you remember that one? Technology. We can change the technology. Your wife has been cooking with firewood, and some people even go to the extent of saying that if they don't prepare diesel with firewood, it's not technology. Hmm? You come to the office, even as we speak now, majority of we those in this class, if we give you this laptop and give you an assignment, so and then you have refused to accept that the world has changed. You have refused. But we are still doing it. Yes. Even now, when people die, as they used to send us to tell our elders in the village that my uncle is dead, we don't go again. We call them. And they accept. In the village, they also accept call now. They accept call. And you are in Tamale, eh? And you don't accept your wife to cook with gas. In your office, eh? You are still writing memos on paper. Even UDS, we still write on paper and sign. 2025, when in smart cities like Madrid, like Madrid, you know what happens? Zoom Lion, their waste management services, people don't call them to come and empty their dustbins. No, the dustbin is embedded with a chip. So when your dustbin gets to a certain weight, it signals the waste company that I'm full, come and empty me. Within 10 minutes, they will come and empty the dustbin and clean it. Parking spaces like city campus, when you get to the gate on your phone, it will tell you parking lot number 5 is empty. Move towards right. You don't go and no. 2025, can change the technology, right? We can change it, can't we? Now you see everybody is smiling. Then I bring you back. Everybody reflect from the door you came out from this morning, where you slept in your room, from the door you came out from. Now, if a serious armed robber gets to your door, can't they break it? And you are still sleeping in that. You are still sleeping in that. Put yourself in that situation. That means you have not accepted change. You have not accepted. It's not the money. It's about interest. It's about interest. Madam, it's interest. We say change goes with resources. And resource allocation also goes with interest. You are putting up another house. For who to live there? Are they your family? Don't worry, we'll get there. We can also change the design of our job, what we do. You are a cashier, right? A cashier can still be a what? In charge of international transfer. True or no? If someone in charge of international transfer is not available, you can do the same job. Yeah. Can't you? We can change it. If you are my wife and providing, tomorrow my salary is not in, you can provide. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. That leads us to the next one, structure. Structure. If, Madam, can we continue? She added another element to the conversation. I said we can change the design. The design is what? Now, if your mentality and your belief is that anything you incur in the interest of the organization must be refunded, it means you are a dependent in the organization. And for that matter, you have no contribution in policy. All employees who don't invest in the what organization, you cannot determine how the company policy should be formulated. I don't know whether you understand. And you are aware the first organization we belong to before our second organization is the family. The family is an organization for which the breadwinner is the what? Is the manager. Is the manager. So all other people in the organization are employees, and children are products that we produce. So the one who owns the company is the one who owns the children. Observe. If your wife is capable than you, when you divorce, you are also happy she still owns the children. You are also happy because if she did the children for you, you can't take care of them. You understand? The structure. So that's the structure. You see, it can be modified from functional to a product structure. Yes, the structure can be modified. Okay, and then the process. How do we do it? How do we produce? How do we do it? The way we do it can be changed, right? We do it the Brussels way, right? You remember the Brussels way? Anything permanent was a problem. It was misconstrued, right? The Brussels way. So the process can be changed. We used to teach face to face. We chalk. By the time you finish, you are cleaning your face. Now, you see that since I've entered this class, I've not even touched the board. Everything I want to say is on the screen. You see, embedded technology and process. You see, in this class, but they are part of the class. The delivery process has changed, right? If the delivery process is changing and we are accepting it, if the manner in which we teach has changed and we accepted it, school used to be attended during weekdays from Monday to what? Friday. Why are you here? You see? And you have changed not because you want to change, but you are forced to change. You remember? You are forced to change because the fear as well, the future is not known. You are afraid of the future because you want the level to increase. You are afraid. And we're saying that we can also change the culture. We can change the culture. And that is why KFC has been able to make their culture so dynamic to fit in every setting they find themselves. So why can't you fit when they relocate you from one organization to the other? You should be. And even organizational cultures change. So you as a human being should be able to change. You should be able to fit wherever you find yourself. It is considered a fundamental aspect of organizational culture. It's a fundamental aspect of organizational change. And you see this, me, I just don't want to see him. I just hate him. Why? Why do you hate him? Maybe it's a friend who told you what he did, which was bad, and you are angry. How can you be angry for nothing which has happened to you? Because they said he is a thief, you don't want to make friends with him. But me, when he has never stolen your item. I don't know what it is. No, no. Okay. Any question? Yes, please. What? We have not even started. The process. Eh? So, achieve your goal as an individual or within an organization. No, you cannot achieve a goal when you don't know the set. You see, actually, at the personal level or at the beginning of organization, you have a problem. You are in an organization and you want a personal goal of an organization. That's what your problem is. Yes. There is no environment which does not accept any kind of dress. That's why we say culture is bad. You see, we said it can be changed. In their society, where we find ourselves with my wife, we wear complete. But where we find ourselves with where my job has located me, they wear jeans. We say that culture can be changed. That means you and your wife have a culture. The society has its own culture. Now, who is supposed to lead the other and join the other? You come to a compromise. There is a way your wife can still dress, which still covers the whole body, but suits the interest of your new environment. You have to agree. But you don't allow your initial thought of culture be pathological. Don't be infected. You have to accept that I'm no more in stage 1. I'm now in community 2. In community 2, how they do things is different from community. So therefore, there must be a compromise. And that is why you see American Muslims. Eh? Go to security. What was this? Very good. If you observe American Muslims, you see how they dress. They wear jeans. They wear veil. They wear shirts. And they cover themselves. It's covered. It's accepted. True, yes. But you want to wear your batoro in Tamale and wear it in America. I don't know whether you get it. So that is why lack of information influence our resistance to what? Change. Because you don't know. And that is why we're supposed to learn, improve our knowledge. That enhances our ability to adapt to new environments. You understand? So you have your personal goal and you are working for an organization. And that is why some people resign from one organization to the other. You understand? So, and when you are resigning from one organization to the other, you must do that in the interest of your family. If you resign and you don't have a job, who feeds your family? Even your religion, in the scripture, in the Bible, and in the Quran, it says that when there is no food, you can even eat pork. True or yes? True or yes? But the Quran says you should not eat pork, right? But I say when there is no food, you can eat what? Pork. It means that don't resign the job when you don't have a job. You did from job. You don't resign from what? Your job. You understand? So you don't mess the two up. Everybody has an individual goal, and the organization you work for has their goal. And your goal cannot override the organization. If you think that your goal is bigger than the organization, you go, you quit. But you don't quit when you don't have an alternative. Okay, now let's go to the last one, the change process. Every individual organization go through the change process. Again. We go through the change process. And there are 3 stages of the change process. 3 stages. You remember, you all have first degree. Everybody in this class is assumed to have a first degree. I say assumed. It's assumed to have a first degree. Because if you don't have a first degree, good. Now, when we were doing our first degree, you remember when we got to final year, the year of refreezing. That was the year we told ourselves, oh, matter. After this one, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. Wait. No. This one, I'll leave it for my children. Now, Lewin says people get out of their comfort zone, not because they don't want to be comfortable, but because there are reasons that when we see that the one thank you. Now, when you see a pregnant goat in the market, it means there's a pregnant problem. So when you see responsible people, when you see well educated, or how do I put it? Very good. Weekend in class, it means that there is something chasing them. Right? Good. You see, nursing mothers who should have been at home with their babies are here with the children Saturday and Sunday from morning 3:30. It means there is an issue. You are getting out of your comfort zone. Why? And that is what we call unfreezing. You are unfreezing because, you see, crises are especially likely to stimulate what? Unfreezing. You get to a certain stage in your organization, there's no promotion. Hi, but Hamma was 10 years ago. What are these people telling me? Because Mr. Abla was promoted to headmaster with our masters. Santana, just 5 years ago. Why are they saying we need to get masters? You struggle, you go to Accra, they say, oh, that's the rule. Adiba, do you know anywhere they don't meet? You have to confess. Because you make up your mind, so you are getting out of your comfort zone as a result of money. But it can also occur without crisis. Some are here not because there is crisis, but they are anticipating something in future. They are anticipating something in future. So instead of being at their comfort zone, they come out of their comfort zone. And that is what we call the first stage of the what? The change process. Then we say that as you get out of your comfort zone, now we are changing. Everything we say is really smart. You are accepting it. Even sometimes the lecturer will say something which does not even demand laughter, but you are you see people laughing. You accept it. Because it is the implementation of the program or plan. And what did we say plan was? Focusing into the future. You are implementing what you are focusing into the what? The future to do. To move the organization or its members to more what? Satisfactory states. You are now implementing what you intend to do, where you intend to be, and where you intend to be. You are now implementing it now. And to do that, you must come for lectures, you must read, and you must write exams. And you must complement all that with what? Peace. The cement bags that you were going to buy, you have to skip it. You come and pay fees. Now you are not implementing, you are changing. Because nobody could have convinced you that you should come and pay 24,000 for 2 years for somebody to be talking to you. You calculate by now your 2-bedroom would have been done. You understand? So you are changing. We are now in the change. We are implementing the intentions that we had when we went out of our comfort zone. Oh, I forgot that. Now, in order for change to occur, people must have the what? Capability and opportunity. You see? You must have the capability and opportunity. There are some of your colleagues in the office, they wish they were here, but they can't. They can pay. Some can pay, they have first degree, but they can't be here. Why? Yes, I just need 2 answers. Whether you can think of yes, they don't see the need, that's 1. The inconvenience, that's 2. The the capacity. No, they have the capacity. They have, yes. So they don't see the need to change. Yes. You are perfectly right. You remember when we were in the university? The reason why you had DE was because somebody was refusing to learn and was encouraging you not to learn. He will tell you that I can't see your pass here. But don't worry, D is also pass. And before you realize you could do better, but the person influenced you. So you see, we say that the capability, see, people must have the capability and opportunity. Why? Because there are some of your colleagues in other locations, they have the money, they have the degree, but where they are stationed, they can't. The location is a disadvantage. The location is a what? Some of you are traveling from other places to come and attend. There are people who stay in that same place, but they don't have the means. So they have to plan for that means next year. Some of you would have been graduating this year. You remember, why didn't you join last year? To put yourself in that shoes. And the motivation, madam, somebody said it, the motivation, he doesn't see the need. Until he is hit by crisis, he doesn't see the need to change. You try to convince your colleague, Pastor, the way things are going, let's go. And so, relax. Relax. When the time comes, you relax. You get it? And then when we achieve what we want, what do? We rephrase our brains. At the moment, observe, you have not even finished first semester or first trimester. Some people have already started pushing your mind. The way things are going, when I finish this, I'm not going anywhere. Not going anywhere. I will not try again. This thing, if not for promotion, I will not come here. You have already started pushing your mind, and the pushing will be enhanced by the time you finish first year. You'll be now thinking about graduation. And after graduation, what would I do? But you never think about going back to school. But as we speak now, there are some people already in this class. Their refreezing is not at the end of this program, but PhD. They are thinking of doing PhD, not masters. So you see, our process of change is not universal. As you are refreezing after masters, some are still in the changing process. Change occurs often as a result of your needs and your demands. It occurs often, so it's temporary. It's a temporary state of affairs. You remember when your husband was married? Wait, darling, you are the apple of my eye. I will never love a woman like you. And the next thing is, I'm introducing your younger sister. You remember? So we say change, refreezing is what? Temporal. It's temporal. Because he was freezing, right? Then he unfreezed, changed, brought you in, and he said, no, one wife, one man, one wife, one blade, one down. Then all of a sudden he went out and then he saw a very beautiful girl. And then he came home and started trouble. Then the refreezing that you were comforted with has changed. He's now going to unfreeze again. Right? Can I give you this story of a man who wanted to unfreeze? Yes. Did I give you that story? You see, so that is what it's a strategy of unfreezing. When you know the unfreezing is not going to be welcome, when the change is not going to be welcome, there are different ways to approach the world, the unfreezing stage. You understand? There are different ways. Any question? There are different ways. Any question? What are each church of that? It's 12 or 12 days. No, I started 10 days. It's 12 days. It's 12 days. Okay. Okay, answer. Thank you. Then thank you. Madam asks a question. As a secretary to an office for which you have a boss, then you have supporting staff, which can include service personnel, on attachment, and code. Now, you as a secretary, you are so compassionate. You have human feeling. Then you pick your pocket money to make them comfortable. Then your boss hears that you have used your personal money to make them comfortable. Your boss is not happy with you. What do you do as a secretary? Yes. You don't stop. No, that cannot bring peace. Next time, you give them what? They shouldn't tell the boss. Okay. Okay. Oh, any other? Or you don't do that. Any other? As we deal with human beings, there is no straight jacket way of handling human beings because of the psychological one and the experience of every human being. And that is why our emphasis is on culture, culture, culture. That is why I stated that the ego is the cause of all problems. Our ego. You know why? He is angry not because you have helped them, but he is angry because he is the boss. He should have done it. So you are indirectly telling the children that he should have and he is not. I don't know whether you get it. You are indirectly telling the auxiliary staff or the supporting staff that our boss is not doing well. That's why you are telling them. I don't know whether you get it. But the children or the auxiliary staff or supporting staff are not aware of the message you are sending across. For them, it's a what? It's support or sympathy on your part, for which they want to thank you. And they want the boss to thank you for them. And that has caused the problem because you are sending the wrong message. I don't know whether you get it. There are some favors we do, and there are messages we send, especially in organizations. In that circumstance, if you know they needed help, every office has what we call impress. You're supposed to tell your boss, can we provide water for the support staff? You're supposed to tell your boss, these children are suffering. Can we be giving them lunch? That's why you are a secretary. What is the meaning of secretary? To assist in advice. You've never mentioned that to him. And some people accept that by their orientation, that's the culture. They are so fixated on themselves, they forget those who are behind. You have to draw his attention. You get it? Now, if you draw his attention, he might do. If he is somebody who doesn't care about his subordinates, and you are now later doing it, he will not take offense. You quickly even come to add up to do it. But you never mention to him, you are sending the wrong signal. We work together, right? Cohesion. There is something happening, you didn't draw my attention, then go ahead. Definitely, I'll be offended. If somebody should come to the house, you are the woman and you have a husband, but you are the financier of the house. Observe. And somebody came to the house and gave money to your kids, and your husband takes the money, and when they come, they don't report, you have it there. As a woman, you are the financier, the breadwinner of the house. Somebody gives your children money, your husband takes the money, he don't tell you. And later one of the children, Uncle so and so came, he gave us 10,000, and then that would be what you do. It's normal. That tendency of doing is not always doing, but doing it at the right time and place. If you do it at the wrong time and place, you be held accountable. Be held accountable. Any question? Okay. Any question? If you don't ask questions, me, I'll ask you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll ask. So that's it. It's not that the three dots. It's the way the control. So, problem, I will share with you and share with the class. So that you want the next time I come, we'll do that now. Okay. So you see the CEO. That's the CEO. No. Come on, Ricky. Come on, Ricky. The woman didn't know that was the CEO. That was commanding the CEO. Come on, Ricky. Come on, Ricky. That's the CEO. Because he came as an intent and they were drilling him. They didn't know that was the CEO. Hmm? You guys are already gone. So after he finished with all the departments and you visit all the workers and you know that it was also who came down as intent. Some of them started with. Because you don't know this person. So you see, don't worry, what we have to analyze. You don't know. This time. So he even went to leverage his everything. So don't worry. Next week, madam, if you can follow me on TikTok, next week, he tried in the years. I want I have There's a possibility of layoffs for sale, but first you're going to that's how it goes. So actually, what will come the yes. The man said at the end that the most fascinating aspect of it all during his rounds was the woman who was in charge of cleaning the aircraft. Hello, Richard. Come on, Richard. Come on, Richard. Was commanding them, come on, come on. It simply tells you that you are respecting me because you know who I am. I don't know where you understand. People don't respect human beings, but they respect their self. Yes. Oh, let me use the mic. No, I want to listen to the it's a customer.
Thank you. I want to know the objective of the additional is it to shape this thinking into how to match the organizational culture with the culture of staff? And at what point is it that needs to change to suit the organizational culture? And
it's hybrid. We just need to find a middle ground in the interest of the organizational one. A middle ground. And you see, research has shown that much of the misunderstanding and the conflicts that occur in organizations is as a result of our inability to understand. And you remember when I said I've been making references to our curriculum. The curriculum of our education is designed essentially to build upon each other in order to develop the human being in a wholesale. But unfortunately, because of the lack of jobs, income, and poverty, there is disconnect with what we learn and what we implement. Even the work you are doing here, you're not trained to do it. True or yes? You are working as a result, it's an accident. What you want to do when you're in secondary school is not what you are doing. And what you even want to do next is not what you are trained to do. True or yes? Somebody who did history is the Minister for Science and Technology. Now, OB, we said, OB is to connect the dots. When you get to understand the physiology of the human being, you have no problem even with you. And as a manager and a leader, when you understand the people you lead, will you have a problem? When the people understand you as a manager, will they have a problem even with you? The main reason why subordinates have problem with their leaders is because we don't understand each other. If your wife, you go home, your wife, you say she should cook rice, chicken, add vegetables, then you go home, she veggies. You see, if you understand the psyche of the, you should be able to connect the dots why she did that. If you are able to connect the dots, you will not be angry. And when you are not angry, you will also be. But when you are angry, go at you. But because we're not able to connect the dots of the word, the actions and inactions of a human being, that's why we easily get angry. I can't remember the last time I got angry over 30 years. Yes. Have you ever seen me angry? I don't get it. Because any action a human being does, you should take time to understand it before you act. And that is why when we started, I told you, the manager should not act, but act based on facts. Do you understand? Do you know the reason why our fathers, when we were young and we had a problem, he comes around, when an elderly person comes around, the children are fighting. Hey, what happened? What happened? Hey, stop, stop. And then what is your problem? You talk. It's okay with me. Now, what is your problem? By the time the two of you finish explaining, you are okay. You are okay. Because he might say something you never thought that was the reason and that you go angry. Then through his explanation, then why should you be fighting? You get it? But because of our inability to understand situations, is the reason why we have Now the monk said, there's a monk who said that you have a problem. Yes. Can you solve it? No. Why worry? Leave it. If you can solve it, why can solve it? Why worry? Why? You are so worried about things you're not supposed to be worried about because you don't understand them. You don't. Hmm? If you understand them, you should not be worried. The human being is a social animal who is very difficult to study. Now, you cannot study him but understand him, right? You understand him. When you understand him and he understands you, you have no problem. You see, I would have given you a lot about myself. You see, when you study organizational behavior, details, and you understand the nitty-gritty of human relations, which we call workplace behavior, you have no problem in life. You see how a chameleon works? But it has a destination, right? You see the number of accidents in town. You're driving and then a motorbike will cross you, and then you look back and then you remember an accident one, and then you feel so sorry for the person. You know why? You know why people speak? It's the ego. It's the ego. I go back to the ego. Don't worry. When we get to a place where we do mediation and negotiation, mediation and what? Negotiation. As managers, we should be able to mediate and negotiate our way out. You should have a big heart. You have a big heart to accept everybody. Now, if you want to negotiate or mediate between people, and then you have a choice, how can you negotiate? How can you mediate? A big heart cools the ego because you accept everything. A friend of mine told me that the reason why there are so many girls who are not married is because their ego is bigger than their interest. Even God has not even created the men they want to marry. And God never even talked about that kind of men. And the reason why some of these men cannot have wives is because of the same reason. You want a woman who will serve you like a slave. And God has never talked about that one. So that one is never created. You understand? So if you are a boss in your organization and you want your employees who are also employed like you to serve you like those days during what we name Adam and Eve, before Adam and Eve. Yeah? Joseph and what? Joseph, you remember those days. You want them to serve you like Joseph's time. It means you are living in utopia, in a world that does not exist, and definitely there will be conflict. Observe when you are with people. Anything that is given, I repeated it the last time, please practice it as leaders. Don't always make your choice before you hit your subordinates. And that's what we do as managers. Anytime there is remuneration, accountant, I will take this. And then the rest you can divide it among them. That's not leadership. That's not leadership. It's not leadership. And that is why when your employees get to know what you have taken, they are angry. They're furious with you. You remember our fathers, they used to serve us food after we have eaten before they eat. You see, they used not to write, but they had practiced all the tenets and dictates of leadership and workplace behavior, which we observe and we saw with our eyes. But we grow up, we are not speaking English and we have forgotten. You remember? In the night, your brother will come home very early to make sure that when everybody is eating, he's around. Then he will ask, who is not there? Why is this person not there? Right? In the district assemblies, we have a concept called the fewer the merrier. Who works at the assembly? The fewer the merrier. Do you remember that concept? When they employ you at the district assembly, they are happy you don't come to office. Because when a contractor comes and he gives 10%, only those who are around will share. So if you are not there, it means I'll get more. It's called the fewer the merrier. So observe your friends who work at the district assembly, they don't go to work. And nobody queries them. But as a leader, you should be concerned when your subordinates are not around. You should care for their welfare. Any other? Yes. Okay. Yes. It is asking the total. And it's true. You said I was very happy because it's exactly what we're talking about. If you are chasing salary, like his personal goal, you are chasing salary, you'll be jumping from one organization to the other, and you will never get satisfaction because there will be somebody whose salary will be bigger than yours. That's why you won't come back. You will come back. Because if they raise the salary, you will come back. You understand? You are always chasing salary. So you will never get satisfaction. But your happiness depends on the relationship that exists in the organization. Have you observed that in every organization, the happiest are not the highly paid? Have you observed? The happiest and those who and watch undercover boss is all permanent. The happiest are not those who are highly paid. Those who are highly paid are those who are not happy because they are chasing more. Don't worry, my sister. Don't worry. I'm gonna Those who are happy are those who are there as a result of the relationships, the interactions. They value the union. You observe it gets to a time in the team formation, group formation stages, where even when your uncle is dead, it's like my uncle is dead. I'll be there throughout. What you did me nothing, but I feel for you. But there are some in the organization, every event you never see them. Have you observed? They are there for salary. But we those who are there because we value our relationship. Even if it is outdoor, I'll be there. Even if your mother is ill and you say you are going to hospital, I'll be there. You are there. Even to the extent some people even suspect we knew each other before we ran the organization. You get it? So we say that culture is more important than salary. But under our current circumstances, we are all teaching one. It's not your fault, it's a situation. Then what's the question?
So this person says, I've enjoyed your lectures, but a lot of I have a question. A lot of organizations seem not to adapt to change in various areas. In this case, what can we do? Organizations that don't want to adapt change.
And if they don't accept to change, they easily die off. They fall out of the competition because we're in a competitive world. Have you observed? We're in a competitive world. So if your organization is not adapting to change, like Google's case, you just fall off. If you observe Coca-Cola, the bottle, they keep the size of the bottle. They keep on massaging the shape because it cannot continue to be the same, or else they will run out. But observe, the taste is still the same, but they continue changing the bottle. Right? Now, as an organization, when you refuse to change, the only simple thing is that you run out of competition. And that is why many of the banks went off. Because if you are having a practice that is not bringing you profit, you run out. You give loans to people of your friends who are not paying, you run out, right? The only competitive edge that change you should bring is that stop giving loans to what? Your friends. Give it to people who will pay. I mentioned it. You remember? I mentioned that if you're a wife and you're not changing your husband will go out and change for girls. If you're a wife and then you can't interact, you can't create conversation. You cannot create a conversation between you and your husband. Marriage. You talk to small girls also. You should rebrand yourself. And always, we don't like nagging. How are you? Don't like change. Don't change. You change yourself. You see, you have already pre-occupied your brain with an accident. And that's the problem. You have to anticipate. You remember we said in the change process, we have to plan. And in the planning process, we have to what? Focus. Right? So as you focus, you are anticipating. Right? So you have to anticipate to be able to provide satisfaction. If you don't anticipate, how do you provide satisfaction? You get it? Because he's being influenced by the society. He doesn't want society to ridicule him because his wife is wearing jeans. Not that he doesn't like the jeans, but he's being influenced. That is why we tackle socialization, social influence before coming to change. It's a society that is influencing him. It has spread. So you see, dependency, influence. You remember, he depends on the society, and the society is influencing him. Okay, let's stop here. Let's see. So they will upload the video for you. Let's do the discussion.